Okay. Um, and just for the members of our audience who may not, and it's either one of you who may not know exactly what Stonewall. No, we're not talking about general Stonewall or individual, but we're talking about events. So kind of, and you don't have to go into the whole historical thing. Just kind of give people an idea of what that Stonewall event or the period was.
The period was around 1969, if I'm not mistaken, right, Janelle? And it
Yes.
basically was a place in pretty much basically, I would say, New York City. And it was a place that kind of like a neighborhood, and that's just like an area where the LGBT can go together, have fun, non-judgmental zones. So it's like a safe haven, in other words.
Mhm.
And basically, the police came in and just started attacking. And that one time, the people just was like, "We tired of it," and they started to fight back, like Janelle said. So it's just like a safe place that somebody went to that enough was enough. And it's kind of like if you look at the Black Lives Matter movement and different things like that, people are getting tired of things and not able to be who they are. We're in a century or a decade or years where we should be able to express ourselves no matter what. And so
Mhm.
for the riots that happened back in the 1969, around 1969, it was a time for our people who paved the way for us to fight, to say enough is enough. If I wanted to wear a dress and a wig, let me be who I am. I'm not bothering anybody. It shouldn't matter, you know what I'm saying, what I'm doing. If I wanted to dress as a girl, it's okay. It's okay for people to be who they want to be and live the lives that they want to be. If I want to be with a man, it's okay. It shouldn't bother people for who I'm being with. And so they just basically got tired for wanting to be who they were, for just, you know what I'm saying, just putting up with the hate, because I would consider it to be hate because they didn't understand a certain type of culture or they didn't understand something. And people shouldn't be treated like that.
Mhm.
So this place was basically a place for people to, one of the places were for them to basically just be who they want to be in a comfortable place. But the police came back and they just started arresting people, putting, you seeing people, you know what I'm saying, putting in vans. Normally people would just scatter away and just run because that's what happens when you see the police a lot of times. But this time they did. And so
Right.
I think it's a
Right. So
monumental thing for people just to stand up for themselves and their rights for what they believe in, because we are in a country of freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where we should be able to say and feel how we want to feel, and it'd be okay. And people just have to accept some of the things that we say.
right. Okay.
So Joe, too, really quickly, also, to explain a little bit of why we were fed up. Well, during that time, the community was so fed up. The police had an agenda. A lot of
Mhm.
times, sometimes the police actually set up like say for instance, there was like if there was a park, where people
Mhm.
met up at. Sometimes the police would, do undercover ops just to put, set themselves up as like, they'll dress up, really alluring and things like that. And even as far as like, having some sexual contact just to get people arrested, for having, being gay.
Right.
So, and these were multiple times and occasions where police raided clubs or raided different areas, just harassing the community. So that's where the whole fed up
Gotcha.
type came
Right.
from.
Thank
So
you. Yeah. Thank you.
It was specifically targeted for, absolutely no reason.
okay. So my question for you: you have this history of mistreatment, of discrimination, even of violence towards your community.
Hmm.
You you have those things happening right now. What gives you the courage to be an advocate, to be an activist for a community, knowing that it could put you in danger? What makes you say, forget all of that, I'm still stand up for my people?
Um, from a very small age, I've always felt the way I have felt, and I always had questions on, why do I feel this way? Because I was told that it was wrong, right? So having the liberty being who I am today, I feel empowered. I feel, I don't know, I feel like myself. I feel important. Right. Every day I have to, wake up and I look in the mirror and I feel great. I feel good and I feel empowered of being the person that I am. So what pushes me is, I have to go out here every day. I have to, walk out of my front door, and I face all types of people every day. My kids are concerned about my safety too sometimes, and it's important because, well, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. So back in the day, when I was trying to discover who I was, I was introduced to the scene. I was introduced to the life of, I seen drag queens and I saw other trans women, and it just was like, oh my God, this is, where all those feelings come from. This is, this is me. Mm-hmm. But there was a backstory to all of that. I had to, it was a lot of glamour, it was a lot of glitz and all that, but there was a backstory to that. There's, how am I going to pay for my hair? How am I going to pay for my rent? How am I going to live out here? So I had to do what I had to do. And I, started hustling in the streets. I was prostituting, mm-hmm. And not only did prostituting cover my bills, but it also filled a void almost. It's going to sound weird. Mm-hmm. It filled a void because when men would, either, come on to me or things like that. This is something that was new for me. So I was like, wow, guys are attracted to me like this, or they're showing me affection, mm-hmm. When for so long people were mistreating me, calling me names and kind of shunning me. These men accepted me. It's kind of mm-hmm. weird to say. Right. It was a twofold type of thing. So when I go out and I advocate today, I have a respectable job. I make a respectable income. Not saying that sex work, for some is, that's their only way of survival. So I don't downplay sex work, in my community, because in our community, sometimes it is survival for mm-hmm. some. Mm-hmm. But it is important for me to say, hey, look, I'm someone that comes from that, and I totally understand that. But I want to let you all know that, look, there's more out here. There's more out there. Love should not say, hey, look, love shouldn't have to be so jaded. Meaning, self, I need to learn to love and respect myself. So that's where that passion comes from. That boldness comes from having had to be in the muck and the miry, literally, down in the trenches, almost being killed, so my passion runs deep. It runs deep because, of how I was raised. It runs deep because I want to set an example for my children. It runs deep because everybody looks at the book and not even try to read the book, mm-hmm. So my advocacy goes beyond mere words. When people see me, I want them to see me as someone that, hey, look, I can be able to help you. I'm at a drop-in center. There's people who come in here, they need a hot meal, and when they look at me, the first glance, they're like, wow, I need help. Well, somebody like me is in a position to help you. Every time, every day, the more and more people see people like me, we are breaking barriers, and we are tearing down walls, and we are showing people that, it is the inside that what counts the most. That's why I fight so hard. I fight for my children, for my grandchildren, for my legacy, for my community. Don't have fear. Even within our community, we have people who hate, even within our community. This month is a time